connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much. And with a smile and a joyful glee in the heart and a willing spirit, we do great things. I'm honored to welcome the CEO at Cayman Enterprise today, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, together with the marketing manager, Ms. Bianca Mora, and the public engagement officer, the vice president of public engagement CAC, Mr. Peter Riley. Gentlemen and wonderful lady, thanks for sharing some time with us, and as we get a chance to look at, Charlie, you, the team, the commitment, not just the financial investment, but the staying power. They position us to look at what, it's another wonderful leg to our economy. So good afternoon and welcome again, man.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us back.
Well, I think if we were wise, we'd always defer to the lady so that we guided properly as to what we should be doing. So, Ms. Bianca, it helps us to appreciate, that this commitment that Cayman Enterprise City has to, the sort of the new generation, the next generation of Cayman innovators, where we are. So, good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And we're excited to talk about Enterprise Cayman. It's a partnership between Cayman Enterprise City and the Cayman Islands government.
All right. And Peter, as we welcome you to the conversation, man, it's good to be able to not only see new faces, fresh ideas, but the idea that together.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me on. It's very excited to be here. So,
when we look at it, and you were saying, Bianca, you design in this specific for the next generation of Cayman students, and people who may be working now and wanting to maybe spread their wings. Maybe they've always had a passion for something, but never really thought that to be here they could pursue that. So give us a perspective as to what we're looking at in terms of what we have going forward.
Yeah, so Enterprise Cayman, it has various different initiatives, and they take place throughout the whole year. Right now, in particular, we have our internship program that's currently running, as well as our mentorship and work placement program. So that one, we are actually currently recruiting some software programmers. So if you're between the ages of 18 to 25 and are looking for an internship, do send through your email and your CV to innovate@enterprisecayman.ky. So that is currently what we have going on, as well as we have the STEM Summer Camp, which is in partnership with UCCI and Enterprise Cayman, and that's happening early next month. It's a 1-week summer camp that features everything from vlogging, software programming, game development, all that. And then we have our highly anticipated drone workshop as well, that I'll let Peter talk more on that.
That's a fascinating thing. We look perhaps at drones, and I remember from the early iterations, probably best displayed as they were in the malls, in a controlled environment, and try to go out in the parking lot was a bit to what we have now. Peter, these things, as for the hobbyists as well as for the professional who may be using it in the practice, these things are fascinating, to say the least.
There's so much innovation and technology in this field, and this is something we want to try and show here with this workshop, is to try and get young Caymanians interested in the design. We're going to talk them through the responsible use of the drones with the Civil Aviation Authority, and hopefully design and build with them a fantastic bit of kit that they can take and fly safely and enjoy and build on as well in the future.
If then I could ask, because I know that when Charlie, we were last talking about the STEM workshop, it was already heavily subscribed then. With the drone workshop coming up, there was still scope for registration. So I would like maybe at the outset find out whether there's space for the drone workshop. We can finalize the date if it is, and then how the participants get on board and what ages. Because for me personally, it would not only be nice to be a participant, but even a spectator. It fascinates. We see the movies with the drone overhead and the command from the ground, but to actually operate one, just to survey your property and to go around the yard safely and responsibly, but it's a fascinating thing. So Charlie, the days are gone when you and I were young, but we can still live vicariously through these people, right?
Well, yeah, we can certainly try. And as far as how you would do that, Bianca, do you have the details of the of how someone would sign up for the drone workshop?
Yeah, so it actually went live today. So we are now taking RSVPs, and it is for August 21st and 22nd. And it will be held at UCCI. and it is ages 16 to
16 to 19.
19, yeah.
Oh, so I just qualify.
I made it.
I just barely. I'll be 16 by the 24th.
Something to mention, by the way, as well, and maybe it was already mentioned and I missed it somehow. But we're partnering. This is the Drone Workshop is a partnership with the Civil Aviation Authority, as well as UCCI. So the three parties got together to put this workshop together, and we're all very excited. About I think I think there's going to be a lot of excitement from people that would like to sign up as well.
Mm-hmm. No, with that, and I can see not just the enthusiasts, but the possibilities for design later on, looking at the emerging technology, the future careers that exist. For that 16 to 19-year-old in this instance who's interested, just come along. Any particular requirements you're asking? Do they need to have any knowledge? Have they know how to operate it before? I mean, it's a 2-day workshop, right?
Of course. Well, the workshop's designed to be accessible, so we want it open to as many interested applicants as possible. So if it's somebody who's interested in perhaps a career in technology, design, engineering, hopefully it'll tick some of those boxes that will get them interested in maybe pursuing further opportunities in that field.
And that partnership that you mentioned with the Civil Aviation, I think it's bodes well to instill initially that sense of responsibility and the safety aspect of it. Some of these drones can go several hundred feet up, but there's also the scope that in today's world where we try to be mindful of others' privacy. We've seen the cameras on these drones. Some of them were intent.
They're quite capable. I mean, you get the photography drones that are good for things like real estate, or as I've used them in the past, just for video in the landscape in Scotland. So the camera thing can be like very, very good, but also we want to teach the responsible use of drones because they can be quite noisy. They can infringe people's privacy. So it's very important for us, to have the partnership with the Civil Aviation Authority to make sure we're teaching not just how to design and build and operate the drones, but how to do it responsibly.
I mean, even if you were just an enthusiast, go back to the days with the radio control cars in the neighborhoods. There weren't that many cars up and down, but even then you wanted to be mindful that you weren't creating a problem. This is now in the air, flying over someone's property. Just to be responsible, be respectful, and be safe. Wow, to be a teenager again. Now, with that, like everything, there is a cost, whether it's to the participant because it's underwritten by somebody else. But for this, is there a particular charge for those 16 to 19-year-olds who want to be a part of it?
Yes, so it's $50.
Wow, I spent more on coffee earlier. That's 50 CI or 50 USB?
50 CI.
Okay, so it's not that much then. Sorry. No, but I think this is where, Charlie, your commitment to the wider community, that $50 with the greatest respect, I get it many times from many of us, that may be 5 million because we've stretched so thin. But that is nothing. I mean, we could go for coffee right now and we could spend easily $50 without even thinking of it, just because it's not a lot of money in that sense. So you got to be commended for allowing it to be accessible and affordable.
Yeah, well, I mean that's important to us, and of course you get to take you take it with you when you're the drone that you've built. It's yours at the end of the program. So it's you're not just getting the training and the fun activity. You're actually taking your drone with you when you leave. So all the way around, I think that it's a fantastic program and should be very, very enjoyable and like you said, accessible.
Right.
One thing I'd just like to point out is Peter has just joined us, and just to say a little bit about his background because it's important. And maybe he'll expand on this a little bit as well about the things that he's done in his career. But Peter is a product design engineer with 15 years of experience, and we felt the reason why we brought Peter in was because we felt that we needed to have someone with a strong technical background leading the Enterprise Cayman initiative that would enable us to do things like this. That because I'm just a simple businessman, and Bianca, bless for her sins, she's a marketing professional, and there's obviously things that we can do and do very well. But when it comes to things like teaching people how to build a drone, we need somebody with a background like what Peter has. And the reason I say all of that is just to emphasize our commitment to the initiative, the Enterprise Cayman Initiative, that is designed to help young Caymanians and Caymanians that are interested in retraining to pursue career and entrepreneurial opportunities in the tech space. And we don't pay it lip service. We put our money where our mouth is. The words are easy to say, but we're obviously very, very committed, and I think hopefully that's obvious, to making this initiative very substantial and results oriented.
Right. Well, when we come back from the break, if it's okay, so that people get a chance to appreciate, just like some of our teachers may be in their own space as part of their attempt to encourage their children to STEM-related fields, may help them to look at, say, Raspberry Pi, for instance. With this, Peter, if it's okay, give us a perspective on students going to come in, they're going to build a drone, what that's going to look like, what sizes, and sort of the mechanics and the components, but also the construction aspect, so that they appreciate that this isn't something that is not an easy task, but it's not impossible. And with an introduction, you can even go beyond that, and one day, be that product design engineer as well.
Well, sure. It's not a plug-and-play drone project. There's going to be some technical skills that we'll be teaching as part of this workshop. And also, I think it's quite exciting to point out as well that the frames for the drones are going to be 3D printed. So we're bringing in some other technology there too. And the design is going to be expandable. Yeah. The drones are going to be extremely capable bits of electronic kit that the kids are going to be putting together. And we're hoping that it will spark that innovation and inspiration in them to develop the design further after the workshop. Right. We might even hold a follow-up event, who knows? So.
Well, I'm going to be pressing for that, because this is where the technology lies, this is where our interest. So after the beach, let's, maybe we can expound a little further and get our parents to encourage our children to appreciate the opportunities that exist. I'm going to pause and take a short break. I'm always excited to talk to Charlie and find out more about what's happening at Cayman Enterprise City. And we'll find out right after the break. So please, stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Things just got a bit hotter on Island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The 20th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts is here.
Are you ready for some talent tonight?
Presented by the New Self-Help Community Foundation. Coming to the stage Sunday, July 25th at the Harkwell Theater. Don't miss. Awesome performances by Liana DaCosta, JC Patrick, Rico Rolando.
Yeah, she twerking off a band and I'm about to make a dance, yeah.
Radiance Dance Studio, Mariah Praise, Dream Chasers Cayman, James at Anglin and Son, SI, Center Point Dance Studio, and UCCI Dancers. Part of the proceeds from the Talent Exposition of the Arts go to support the John Gray High School Music Department. Prepaid tickets at Funky Tangs and Winners Circle Sports. $10 or $15 at the gate. The 2021 Talent Exposition of the Arts. Sunday, July 25th at the Harkwell Theater. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Show starts at 6:30. Get your tickets today.
Hello, Cayman! I am Tanya McLean, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe contestant number 4, hailing from the beautiful district of Georgetown.
I am Kimberly Carlos, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe contestant number 5, hailing from the vibrant district of West Bay.
I am Antonika Ebanks, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe contestant number 6, hailing from the beautiful district of Bordentown. Please join us at the Wharf on the 31st of July at 6 p.m. for the Miss Cayman Islands Universe official session. Be a part of this journey to the crown with us.
I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating you.
This is an important public service announcement. In accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act, annual declarations of interest must be submitted between the 1st of July and 30th of July 2021 for members of Parliament, various categories of public officials, and members of governing bodies of statutory authorities, government companies, and commissions created under the Constitution. A new online portal for submissions is being launched on the 1st of July 2021 for easier and secure submission and processing of forms. For more information or to determine if you are required under the Act to file a declaration, visit standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, the CEO of Cayman Enterprise today, for bringing along his colleagues, the VP of Public Engagement, Mr. Peter Raleigh, and I think they said their wonderful marketing manager, Ms. Bianca Mora, as we talk about the initiatives at Cayman Enterprise today, and not to perhaps impose an opinions too much on your time, but as we were talking about the upcoming drone workshop, of course, Bianca, you can maybe share with us in a few minutes our segment that remain some other things, but for parents to appreciate, Peter, what you were sharing, that they're going to come and it's not just out of a box, plug it in and go. They're going to learn things, they're going to see other technologies, they're going to have something that's usable. It's not unlike, you go into a cooking class and you're baking cookies, you're mixing the flour and the batter and everything, you put it in the oven, it comes out, and you can take it home to daddy, not just mommy, and you can taste it, and it tastes good. This is very much similar, except even better, right? So what would that day look like? What would they end up with? And what sort of, is it a quadcopter? Is it going to be able to fly up to the moon? I mean,
it's a quadcopter. If it flies up to the moon, they'll have to work on that themselves afterwards, but we'll give them the skills, the maths to work that part out.
Right.
It would be great if they did, though. So yeah, we're going to have some various presentations from different experts. I can't confirm who the guests are because it's still working on some details. And we're going to basically be teaching them the science behind it, explaining the right way to design one of these aircraft, and then working through them bit by bit to actually build it. And then we'll be flying them together at the end of the workshop. And as Charlie says, they get to take them home at the end of it, and hopefully then they'll be tinkering with it afterwards, using the skills that they'll have learned on the workshop to develop it further.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that unfortunately, well, to my perspective, is maybe unfortunate now. We have wonderful technology, even the phones that we have. The only how those phones come apart is when we drop them or deliberately smash them. Growing up, we could pull apart the transistor radios, we could pull apart the things, and hopefully sometimes with our parents' consent, most times not. But we could tinker with it. We could figure out how this thing worked. I remember the first time we pulled apart the VCR. For people, that was a device we had way back when. But we could see how it worked, and we understood the components. We could see inside the gears, and I could replace a rubber band to take the belt when it broke in because you couldn't find the part. Now you're showing them the interactive part. Charlie, this bodes well for that young mind. Be engaged. Miss Bianca, with the other workshops, you talk about the internships, you talk about the mentoring. You got the STEM conference in the partnership with UCCI. You have this, but your interns in the past have transitioned to wonderful things. So this promises well.
Yeah, we've got a lot of interns that have actually ended up landing full-time jobs within the special economic zone. with some great companies. And we have one of our recent interns. He's a young Caymanian, Adam Clark. He recently joined Infinity Ward, and that's based out of LA. And it's a video game company in which they created Call of Duty. So yeah, that was after completing an internship with Neural Studios from Cayman Enterprise City.
Right. This is where it takes us. We have a listener who's asking the question if spectators would be allowed sort of to invited to attend the workshop. So inferring from the conversation that we have in here, you've done the workshop, end of the day, maybe at the evening as a closing, maybe as a public demonstration. Is that something that you're considering? Is that something that would be possible? Understanding space limitations and the like. To this question, would spectators be invited to attend to see what's happening at the end?
We do open up the workshop at the very end to the parents of the students, to come along and participate and see what the students have put together. So there is the potential for us to open it up for other people. So
okay, is that UCCI?
At UCCI, yeah, at their gym.
Okay.
So I would suggest maybe send an email and maybe give that email address.
Yeah,
again.
so if you email innovate@enterprisecayman.ky, we could send through more information.
Okay. In this way too, I mean, there are considerations, safety as well as, gathering and all sorts of things. So if you're interested, but again, a listener points out there, the proof is in the pudding, And then to Peter's point, I mean, tomorrow is the 52nd anniversary of the moon landing. So maybe to the moon and back. You never can tell. What was that? No, we have Mr. Locks to come down tomorrow to tell us about that, but just a quick preview. But Charlie, when we think of what you're doing and where we're moving with this, there's so much that Cayman Enterprise City is offering, from the business design competition that you shared previously to everything. It's not just one thing. It's constantly throughout the calendar year.
Yeah, but we're trying to find new and interesting and different things to do. We don't want to do the same thing that everyone else is doing. For example, the ideas that we kick around are what we want out of them are to deliver a unique experience to young people that they're not getting somewhere else, rather than kind of offering yet another version of something that's already being offered. And one thing that I think Peter's story, when he told me basically what was the trigger that caused him to get interested in and launched his career in technology, what kind of hit home to me about his story was that everyone has a story like that they or most people, I would imagine, do. They have that kind of one event or one thing that piqued their interest, and where that might take someone it could be anywhere. But if someone doesn't, you do the drone workshop, that doesn't mean that now I'm on a career path to to work with drones. But what it might pique your interest in is the technology, the design, and the I guess the process and all of that, and the various things we do are designed mostly to kind of spark that interest, and we try to do that in a variety of different ways. And we're very we hope that we will, like some of these, because these are for the younger age groups typically. The drone workshop is for a little bit older than we normally do. Like the STEM workshop is for a substantially younger age group. But what we're hoping is that someone will come along and find something fascinating out of one of the workshops and pursue it, or something in a related technical field, and look back on it and say, this is why it happened, and thank you very much for presenting us these opportunities.
I think, as you've reminded us over the years that we've been having these conversations, that training and that a sort of STEM education gives you, the analytical, that sort of engaged, hands-on, interactive aspect bodes well no matter what career you're in. And having the students see this firsthand, Peter, as you shared, who knows where they'll take them. We can see the discussion relative to smart highways and interactive grids to driverless vehicles. Who knows, one day that plane that we're flying may be a drone-like plane where the pilot is not in a cockpit up front of the plane, is elsewhere. I'm not sure about that for me, but it's not for me. I still might say, but it could be, right? I mean,
of course, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
He's like, I don't know.
I don't know if I'd feel it's entirely safe if a pilot was playing, but but the applications are there, yeah.
Sir Richard was in outer space. What was it? Just the other day. I mean, he came back down. Is there one voyage going up next weekend?
I did follow that. Yeah, that was quite exciting.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah.
One other thing I like to add, like you were mentioning, like the variety of different things that we do. One of the workshops that I'm very excited about, and I'm not sure we're ready to talk about this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Go right ahead. You're the CEO.
Yeah. We're putting together a game design workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea behind that is it's targeted at a younger group, and it's the designed to be for not a technical learn coding or any of that sort of thing. It's designed to be something that will teach young people to kind of think through the design through the design process. So it doesn't require technical skill. They may learn some small technical things, but the idea behind it is not to like training or actual learning how to code, that sort of thing. The idea is to get young people thinking about how do I take an idea and actually develop it into something. And it doesn't have to be when I say develop, it doesn't end up with a coded product that's that you can play. But the idea would be that you have a physical a game board. Like you get you take the idea from the very beginning, develop the game idea. You have a game board and the pieces and the various things, and you've thought through the process of how do I actually put this together, as opposed to someone has brought me a design and I have to code it now.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that one as well.
Yeah.
And kind of just goes back to your point where we do a variety of different things, and hopefully something will spark the interest of some young people that will lead to a career.
All right. Well, I certainly always look forward to it. I learn something. I get a chance to appreciate more of where we are in the economy, and I think either from the perspective of being a youngster or as a parent, to see what's available to us. We always think of Cayman as being limited, but I think it's because we don't have sufficient confidence in who we are, what we are, but sufficient sort of approach with a vision as our ancestors had, that we're only limited by our imagination. So as we close our discussions, Bianca, maybe start with you first. Some of the salient points, some of the things that we're looking at going forward to remind us why we're here.
Yeah, so as Charlie mentioned, there's tons of stuff coming up for Enterprise Cayman. We couldn't mention it all during this radio show, but if you're interested to see what's coming up, what's happening, we do have our enterprisecayman.ky website, and you could go there and see what's currently going on. I think the next one coming up is also the networking event. Really quickly, we didn't mention, but it's happening the 29th of July, and it's a great way to meet our special economic zone members if you're between the ages of 18 to 25. So yeah, definitely check out our website, enterprisecayman.ky, and you'll learn more about the initiative and the programs happening.
All right, and we just had a quick question just to confirm for the email. It's innovate enterprisecayman.ky. That's the innovate with the @ sign, right?
Yes.
Not the AT, but what that's called?
Yeah.
You send your keyboard.
Innovate at enterprisecayman.ky.
All right. See, that's why we brought her along, So we get this right. All right. Any sort of closing thoughts, Charlie, you may want to leave with our listeners?
Sure. All I'll say is that we're very excited about the kind of the relaunch, which is something that we've just recently completed, the website for the Enterprise Cayman initiative, and the focus from our side, which is team wide. Peter is going to be leading it, but the team wide, we're all committed to developing this in a very significant way, and we're very excited about what lies ahead. So please do contact us. Please do check out the website. Like I said, please do contact us and keep an eye on all the exciting things that we're going to be doing, and please also get involved.
All right. Thank you all very much. Peter, welcome aboard, man. Good to meet you. Enjoy your time here.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here too.
All right, man. Well, this is why I think we have enterprisecayman.ky if you want more. And as soon as we can again, Charlie, have you in the team in the studio, we can talk more about it.
Excellent.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the week. If it's rain, don't do what I did earlier and get your hair wet. Took me a long time to try. All right, to our listeners, this is why Cayman is a great place. We'll show you some more things as we return. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
3T Cayman MRI is the patient-friendly MRI experience in the Cayman Islands. With the most advanced scanner on island, utilizing cutting-edge technology, and a team of highly trained radiologists and technologists with the experience that rivals any clinic in the world. Our suite is designed for patient comfort, with the largest patient opening of any scanner, and additional features to minimize anxiety during your scan. Come to 3T Cayman MRI for your patient-friendly experience. Learn more at 3tcayman.com.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
The 20th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts is here.
Are you ready for some talent tonight?
Presented by the New Self-Help Community Foundation. Coming to the stage Sunday, July 25th at the Harkwell Theater. Don't miss. Awesome performances by Liana DaCosta, JC Patrick, Rico Rolando.
Yeah, she twerking off a band and I'm about to make her dance, yeah.
Radiance Dance Studio, Mariah Praise, Dream Chasers Cayman, James at Anglin and Son, SI, Center Point Dance Studio, and UCCI Dancers. Part of the proceeds from the Talent Exposition of the Arts go to support the John Gray High School Music Department. Prepaid tickets at Funky Tangs and Winners Circle Sports. $10 or $15 at the gate. The 2021 Talent Exposition of the Arts, Sunday, July 25th at the Harkwell Theater. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Show starts at 6:30. Get your tickets today.
Are you ready?
Yes, Dwayne, we had conch the last time. Now we're having conch 2. We learned about the scientific part of the conch. So this time...
Is that Rhea Pearl Newman?
No,
Mini
none of
Pearl.
that. What it could be this time, we had about the scientific part. We even found out what conch bubbies was. And the conchs have pearls. Tell us what it could be this time. You know, conch 2.
Conch 2, all about conch.
Conch 2, the eating part.
Can you do that again?
Come join us.
All about the conch.
Cooking conch, eating conch. You don't need to tell me about eating conch. I know how to do that part. Join us
for the conch too.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
See what I'm saying?
We're bringing a plate of conch.
Conch.
Conch 2, the eating part, now on Friday, July 23rd.
This is an important public service announcement. In accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act, annual declarations of interest must be submitted between the 1st of July and 30th of July 2021 for members of Parliament, various categories of public officials, and members of governing bodies of statutory authorities, government companies, and commissions created under the Constitution. A new online portal for submissions is being launched on the 1st of July 2021 for easier and secure submission and processing of forms. For more information or to determine if you are required under the Act to file a declaration, visit standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Do you know why vaping is considered toxic? Vaping devices work by turning liquids to vapor for users to inhale. Vaping liquids contain a variety of substances. Vaping can cause acute lung injury. People actually don't know what they're inhaling. There is really no regulatory oversight over who is making these liquids, where and how they're making these liquids, and what kind of components are present in these liquids. Ask questions. To learn more about vaping, contact the NDC at 949-9000 or check out our website at www.ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
3T Cayman MRI is the patient-friendly MRI experience in the Cayman Islands. With the most advanced scanner on island, utilizing cutting-edge technology, and a team of highly trained radiologists and technologists with the experience that rivals any clinic in the world. Our suite is designed for patient comfort, with the largest patient opening of any scanner, and additional features to minimize anxiety during your scan. Come to 3T Cayman MRI for your patient-friendly experience. Learn more at 3tcayman.com.
It's getting hot.
I'd even say it's sizzling.
You're right. It's a sizzling summer. And Priced Right is giving you the chance to win big throughout July and August.
That's right. We've got the best summer products in store. And by just purchasing any specially marked sizzling summer product, you have the chance to win one of 3 $200 Priced Right gift cards.
Promotion only valid at Priced Right at the Airport Center. For more info, go to pricedright.ky. Live better for less this summer at Priced Right.
The life and dependability of your automobile relies completely on the maintenance it receives.
Superior Auto offers quality service and repairs necessary to keep your vehicle running smooth.
Equipped with a drive-through Jiffy Lube, body repair and paint,
machine shop,
and the latest
in diagnostic equipment. Superior Auto.
949-9570
or 525-9571.
Superior Auto.
They keep your car in tune.
Celebrate Cayman is taking the Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry to local communities every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Come out for a fun, family-friendly evening to learn about the Seafarers Registry, access complimentary health and wellness checks, share seafaring stories in the memory booth, enjoy seafaring-themed activities, socialize with seafarers, and more. The Celebrate Cayman Seafarers Registry Roadshow happening every every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Visit celebratecayman.ky for schedule and info.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry, Celebrate Cayman, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, and the Department of Children and Family Services will be visiting the Church of God Chapel, Boddentown Church Hall on Thursday, the 22nd of July.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Mangrove Festival happens this Saturday at Downtown Gallery, Parcel 110 on Cardinal Avenue from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Activities and events are scheduled throughout the day to engage participants of all ages. In international news, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged caution as most legal restrictions on social contact are lifted in England. There are now no limits on how many people can meet or attend events, nightclubs reopened at midnight, and table service will not be necessary in pubs and restaurants. Face coverings will be recommended in some places, but not required by law. Billionaire Jeff Bezos will blast into space on Tuesday in the first crewed flight of his rocket ship, New Shepard. He will be accompanied by Mark Bezos, his brother, Wally Funk, an 82-year-old pioneer of the space race, and an 18-year-old paying customer. They will travel in a capsule with the biggest windows flown into space, offering stunning views of the Earth. In the U.S. state of Oregon, the nation's largest active wildfire has burned through more than 300,000 acres, prompting thousands of evacuations. The Bootleg Fire, already among the biggest in the state's recent history, is one of more than 80 major blazes raging across 11 western states. Fed by hot temperatures and erratic winds, the Bootleg has been burning since July 6th. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Trevor Ewan Foster, 1937-1995. Trevor Foster, a son of Mr. Cappy and Miss Agatha Foster of Cayman Brac, served the Sister Islands as a member of the Legislative Assembly for 2 terms, from 1968 till 1976. He was the first elected member for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman to be elected to Executive Council. During his time as an MLA, he represented the Cayman Islands at several Commonwealth conferences. Trevor was also a retailer who carried on his father's general store and bakery at the Creek, a real estate developer who contributed much to the growth and development of the Sister Islands. He and his wife, Mary Lou, had 2 daughters.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Check, Mariah. Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thanks for joining us. And I think if we ever forget where Cayman is probably the best place in the world, well, join us now and you'll be reminded. And always forever champion what is great and blessed and beautiful about this country, as I'm surrounded by some of the best in our country. Ms. Dawn, with that, thank you, and to Ms. Derry and others for the constant, sort of companionship, your mentoring, your guidance, your nurturing, your development of our wonderful people. So good afternoon to you, Ms. Dawn, and welcome. And for our listeners, so that I can consider potentially taking a vacation sometime, I can audition you now to fill in while I'm off.
Boy.
It's not like you don't have anything else to do, right?
Exactly.
Would you be so kind as to maybe do a couple things? Set the stage for a discussion as we with the contestants, and then we'll go around the room and maybe invite each one to say a brief thing, and then Ms. Ashley will come to you, not at the end, but as a preview to what's next. So, Ms. Dawn?
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dawn McLean Brady. I've been on the committee since 2004, so I'm an honorary member, a veteran, I guess you would say. I am so honored and pleased to be a part of this year's pageant with 9 contestants vying for the title. We have 8 in studio and 1 joining us overseas. Contestant number 9, Ashley Crow, is actually in Chicago. She's participating in the Goodman Theater with an African play, so we're elated to have her join us by Zoom. But I will pass over the mic to all the lovely ladies in here today, and they'll tell you a little bit about themselves, and then at the end, I'll let you know what they've been busy with from the start, the 1st of July, right up until pageant day. So I will pass you over.
All right. Well, good afternoon, Cayman. This is Kimberly Carlos representing the wonderful district of West Bay. I am contestant number 5, and I'm so excited to be a part of this journey and to showcase what Cayman has to offer.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Georgina Kerford, contestant number 3, representing the beautiful and cultural district of Georgetown. And I want to say a huge thank you to my sponsors, Barbara Connolly and David White. They are definitely going to help me along this journey and keep me moving. And I'm very excited to see what these next couple of weeks have for all of us.
Hello, Cayman. It's Aaliyah Harrison, contestant number 8, representing the beautiful district of West Bay, and I look forward to taking you guys along with me on the journey to the crown.
Hello, Cayman. This is Aaliyah Solomon, contestant number 2, hailing from the district of Bordentown. I want to say thank you to my sponsor, Fashion Mart, and I'm excited to have you guys on this journey with me.
Hello, Cayman. I am 25 years old, Tanya McLean, representing the beautiful district of Georgetown. I am very excited to be here today and grateful and honored to be part of Miss Cayman Island Universe, and looking forward to spend more time with the girls and get to know each other better. And also, I want to thank my sponsors, Gemster Limited and Cayman Rehab Services. Thank you.
Hello, Cayman. It's your girl, Narissa McLaughlin, hailing from the beautiful district of Easton. I just want to thank Sterling for having us here, me and the ladies. And I would just like to make a big shout out to my sponsors, my sponsor, Personnel 2000. Thank you guys so much for believing in me. And I am so happy to have you guys on this journey. I feel like it's time for my district to take the crown home, so woo woo.
Hi, Cayman. This is Marquita Ebanks. I'm coming from the district of Bordentown. I'm an assistant teacher at Lighthouse School, so I just want to say shout out to my family at Lighthouse. Woohoo!
Hi, Cayman. This is Antonika Ebanks, your contestant number 6, representing the beautiful district of Bordentown. I want to thank my sponsor, Scott's Equipment, as well as all of the sponsors that are helping us with the Miss Cayman Islands journey. Thank you so much, as well as to the committee.
You know what? I'm just honored to be able to sit here because I think this is what reminds me. Now, Miss Ashley, we only know that you are here in the studio, in spirit. But thank you for joining us on board. So good afternoon to you. Would you, for our listeners, just give a brief intro? Miss Ashley? We are? Yes.
Hi, Cayman. This is Ashley Crow, your contestant number 9, calling in from Chicago. I'm excited to be here. I am proudly represented by King Sports Center and hailing from the district of Georgetown. Thank you to the committee for having me here, for being able to accommodate this crazy wild schedule. And to all of the sponsors for the pageant, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you very much. And as we, Ms. Dawn, as we look at, I think Ashley shared it, crazy hectic schedule. You have to coordinate the ladies have their jobs, you have all the preparation. And for any of us who've either been, because our daughters or our sisters have been involved, we understand the training, we understand the dedication, the determination, but the great sacrifice of just getting everything. It's not an easy task, and it's always a moving target, Ms. Dawn.
No, it's extremely hectic, but the ladies do it with such poise. This morning, this afternoon, right before the show, we were sort of commiserating on how the schedule is so hectic and how we have to coordinate and not be so last minute. So we promise as a committee to do better with you guys in terms of planning. But just to give you all an idea, so the 1st of July, the ladies started their runway training and started their opening act rehearsals. Then the week of July 8th, they started their Toastmasters training. Then the 19th, of course, today, they're starting the radio interviews. And then Saturday, the 31st of July, is the sashing event at 6 p.m. at the Wharf. So we'd like everyone to support us at that event. Then in August, the 16th of August, they start their GIS interviews. The 23rd of August, they start radio interviews again. September the 4th is our motorcade starting at the waterfront. So stay tuned for the route, everyone, because we'd like everyone supporting us and come out and drive with us and blow the horns and, display your the T-shirts and all your favorite contestants. So in every one of the districts, too, we'd like everyone to sort of come out and just sort of show their support and stand by the roadside and blow and wave and clap because, that kind of motivates us. And then the 9th through the 10th of September is dress rehearsals. And then September 11th is pageant night. That is the night for the ladies. And then all of that preparation is leading to Miss Universe itself, which is on Sunday, the 12th of December. The venue has not been determined yet. The rumor was it may have been in Costa Rica, but we don't know. But they haven't confirmed a location or venue yet. But before I forget, because, the memory veteran, member of the committee, before I forget, let me thank our sponsors, Radio Cayman, obviously, Cayman Islands Government, Cayman Air Department of Tourism, Kirk Freeport, King's Sports Center, Sand Angels, Compass Media, Bellagio Salon, Cuts and Curls, and Seductive Beauty. So we'd like to thank, we have all of our sponsors of the ladies. We'd like to thank you all as well. And to all the committee members, Derry and Latrice and Wendy for all the hard work that you guys are put in for this schedule. I know the calendar has been pretty crazy, but the ladies are handling it with poise and beauty as always. Our platform is the Alex Panton Foundation. So I'll let the ladies talk a little bit more.
Thank you very much for that, and not just poise, but certainly with grace and elegance, with humility, with intellect and charisma and charm, and it's wonderful. Through you, Ms. Dawn, if I could maybe ask as we go around, Ms. Kim, start with you first. Maybe talk a little bit about what motivated you, what you want to do, how it's been, and then if it's okay for each to share, and then we'll come to you again, Ms. Ashton, as you join us, because I think people who appreciate the platform they selected, they don't always appreciate how much it takes out of you, how much you give, what commitment is. But we see at the end of the day, you go in great and you come out even greater. So from that, Ms. Kim, your perspective, what motivated you? And then, of course, Georgina as well.
Well, thank you so much for that, Dwayne. I have always wanted to do Miss Cayman and be a part of pageantry. Growing up, I watched Miss USA, Miss World, and Miss Universe, and being half Filipino, my grandma always said, "You go to Miss Universe." Like that was.
Of course, girl, you go now.
And they even wanted to send me to the Philippines actually to be a part of that pageant. But Cayman is my home, so of course I have to represent.
There you go.
And leading up to being a part of this pageant, there were so many things that I didn't think was suitable for me to be eligible in terms of my height, my weight, and I just kept matching up to the standard of normalized beauty. But I said, you know what, this is my time. I have to go for it, and I have to break that stigma that we're all beautiful in all shapes and sizes, and we have to represent and own that and be confidently beautiful. And I also have been very motivated in terms of the platform and the outreach that you have through this. And as a title holder, it just opens up so many more doors. And the fact that we've chosen the Alex Panton Foundation is just incredible. Mental health is something that I want to push. so much. I actually studied psychology, and it's an area that I'm personally passionate about, especially in the youth. So I'm very much looking forward to everything that this opportunity is granting us, and I'm so grateful for everyone along the way, and my friends, family, and my sponsor, Kirk Freeport.
Well, I think you speak for all ladies, man, and that's amazing when you see this beautiful spirit. Ms. Georgina?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, again. What made me really want to enter this pageant was from a young girl always going to Pirates Week and seeing them in their costumes from East End to West Bay was absolutely beautiful. And also Rebecca Parchman, 2009, she's part of my family, and she always said, you know, it's kind of a legacy to continue. Carry the crown to the family, so definitely want to have her support with me while going through this. And because I am the youngest contestant in these beautiful 9 girls, I feel that I can bring definitely something to the youth. As Cayman, I want to bring more trade schools to Cayman and really help with the youth, as you know, everyone kind of lives in the old Caymanian ways, and it's 2021. We need to have new ideas, but still respect the old Caymanian ways. And as well with the Alex Panton Foundation, I think everyone has been bullied at some point in their life, from minor to major. It all depends on what it is, where you are. But bullying happens all the time, and we need to make it more aware that everyone gets that. So I'm so glad we have the Alex Panton Foundation on all of us. I think we've all experienced some things that we can talk about and would help a lot of young women and men that are coming up, and make them, all the young women in school, know that it is okay to have, you know, trauma or bullying in your past history. But this experience has already made me so much stronger, so much more confident, and I cannot wait to see what this next couple of days will be for all of us. So thank you.
Ms. Harrison?
Well, what inspired me to enter the pageant was it's always been a lifelong goal for me to be a part of the pageant, and I also want to become a role model in the community and to inspire others that you can be whoever you want to be. And it's not just about putting yourself out there, but I'm gaining experience that I can use for a lifetime. And I just think working alongside with the Alex Panton Foundation is helping us to bring more awareness to what we're advocating for separately from the Alex Panton Foundation, which is bullying for me. I want to bring more awareness to bullying using this platform, and I believe Miss Cayman Islands Universe platform will help me to allow me to do that.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Wow. Ms. Solomon?
All right, thank you. So one of the few reasons why I wanted to join Miss Cayman is because I strongly believe that I will be a great role model to the community, and also having a brother that has autism and severe dyspraxia, learning from him, he taught me how to treat others with compassion and to treat others how you'd want to be treated. And I would love to demonstrate that to the community, that having a disability doesn't mean that you're different in any way. And I also personally feel that having a disability in the Cayman Islands, you're segregated from others. And I would love to, again, demonstrate that just because they have a disability, they're human, and they have feelings, and they want to have friends, you know. So all that I would love to again demonstrate.
Awesome. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Ms. McLean?
Hello, Cayman. So I decided to enter pageants actually in 2011, and as many know, I was born in Honduras, and my father is Caymanian. I decided to enter Miss Teen Honduras in 2011. And I think it was one of the best years of my life, and I got the crown, and it was very excited. My family was happy. I was amazed because I was a tomboy before. So from playing soccer to having a crown, it changed my life. And also I felt like being part of a pageant, you can express your internal beauty, and you can let people know that it's not about looks, it's what you have in your heart. And I decided to move to Cayman, and it was very hard for me because basically I ran away from Honduras, my other country. I had the opportunity to represent my mother country, and I feel very proud of it. So I decided to give it a shot to the Miss Cayman Islands Universe. So,
you know, that's not a country song, you know, from football to a crown. Yes.
Yes. So The sad part is that my biggest fan was my brother. He was murdered in 2013. I traveled to 13 different countries and he was always there with me. So I just decided to give it a break and I stopped doing pageants in 2013. After that, 2015, I decided to join Miss Honduras and I was not ready for it. I believe that if you want to be part of a pageant, you have to be very committed, 100%. And I just said, this is not my time. So after that, Miss Maria Jose Alvarado, she was murdered in 2014 in Honduras. So I just decided to stop pageants at all. I think Honduras is a beautiful country, and sadly, I was not living there. Like, I was feeling scared to be in Honduras. And being a Caymanian, I'm very proud of it because I feel like I'm free here and I'm not scared walking around. So I believe it's a great opportunity, and I'm working really hard, and I'm 100% committed to it.
And I appreciate you sharing our story with us, because I think too often we take for granted what is Cayman and what the freedoms are and the like, and despite what has been transpiring, maybe at some point, Ms. Dawn, if not now, maybe later on we talk about it, because this is the platform to speak to issues like that. The things that unfold in our region, in our own homes, sometimes we ignore or we don't see how it impacts others. You have a platform and a voice. With that, Miss Easton, hey, listen.
And don't forget it.
There you go.
Contestant number 1. Okay, so I just want to say what really inspired me was me. I got the courage, like, there was a time back when I would always say, oh, I want to do Miss Cayman, I want to do Miss Cayman. Like, I did Miss Teen, and that was one hurdle for me. So I was like, I want to do Miss Cayman. I want to be that role model. Like, I want to be that representative from my district to say, you know what? We need an East End queen, and she's going to tear the place up. And just to combine the platform with myself inspiring me to do this is because I went through, like, depression. And Alex Fontaine Foundation, you know, everything is about mental health, and it came to a point where I lost.
You know, and thank you for that. This is where that courage comes in, you know, and you compose yourself. That level of emotion that we see, and to be surrounded by ladies like you who are nurturing, who are supportive, who are encouraging, you get that freedom, right? And Ms. Dawn, Ms. McLean. No, thank you for that, because that is where the reality and the truth is, and you guys are competing, but you're not just competitors, you're, you know, a sense of camaraderie, and your sisters, and every year that I get to introduce, wow, thank you, Mom.
You just put yourself out
there,
you know?
Yes.
And it takes a lot of us, like, all of us, you know, different colors, different shapes, you know, it's that confidence, and I lost that about myself, like, my motivation, like, everything. And the universe has a funny way of telling you to, like, go for things. So when this came up, I was like, you know what? Let me jump over this hurdle. Like, let me prove not only to my family, to myself, that, like, this is something that I can do. And proudly too, and, like, to the best ability that I can. So that's why. And not also, like, the scale for the pageant is a great way to get my voice out there, not only about talking about mental health for me. I mean, I work in the mental health field as well, but you know, you're more empathetic with everyone. So it's just like, I want to be that voice, to be like, you know, even though I'm pretty and I have a crown, and we still have those days where we just like, oh gosh, you know, it takes a lot out of you. So
it's real. It's real.
It's real. Trust me, it's very real.
And your courage, each of you, your courage to share that it's real. The depression that we feel, it may not be clinically diagnosed, but it may only be because we've not had the courage. We still feel the stigma. to speak to someone, and by you being here, you draw support from each other. At the end of the day, you all deserving of wearing the crown, and you will carry that sash proudly.
It's not just a tangible crown.
Yes.
We're adding to our invisible crown. We want to show the younger generation that they can do anything they want to do once they put their mind to it. There is no such thing as can't. I mean, I can write the word down on a paper, but there is no such thing as can't. And that statement goes bigger than just me saying it. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And what it's saying, that nothing beats a try with a failure, right? So if you don't try, I appreciate that.
Works without faith is dead.
It don't matter how many times you fall down, it matters how many times you get back up.
That's
and
for sure.
You're standing stronger.
That's it. I'm so proud of each of you. Now,
Marquita.
I was like, this is about it. She was so caught up in a moment. Thank you.
Yeah, I was so caught up in
Miss Eubanks.
Like Kim, since I was little, I've always admired the past Miss Cayman contestants and winners and the entire pageant scene, but I struggled with terrible depression and anxiety from a young age, and really bad social anxiety. So even a year ago, there's no way that I would be here speaking on the radio or just in a room of this many people, much less on the radio. And so I never thought it was possible for me. And last year, getting towards the end of lockdown, I suffered one weekend with a series of panic attacks, and then I finally got to seeing a doctor, and I got diagnosed with complex PTSD, which is trauma that stems from over a long period of time, so from my childhood growing up. And because of all of those things, and my weight, I just had this image of myself that I thought that somebody like me, there's no way I would ever be accepted into a pageant. But through going through therapy, starting therapy and going through the exercises that I need to, I ended up building the confidence and understanding that, I deserve this, and it's possible for me just as much as anybody else in this community. I went through things that I shouldn't have, and it wasn't my fault. And it doesn't matter where you come from, what you've experienced. We all deserve this. You know what I mean? We're all amazing women with all of our backstories, and we're all beautiful in our own way. And that's one of my favorite things about joining the pageant this year, is the fact that we have 9 queens, and we are all so diverse. It's amazing. So when I was filling out my application, I was like, there's no way. But when I got the invitation for orientation and everything started, I was just amazed and amazed that I'm getting to go on this journey. And what I hope to benefit from it is just to increase my voice even more. Because the fact that I'm able to speak here now just speaks to the possibilities, to the things that I'm possible of. And I know that this pageant is going to help me grow even more. And also, it gives me a platform to help the community in ways that I wish to. And, that is giving a voice to the people in our community that are the most vulnerable.
Wow.
So people like me that have experienced trauma in a society where that kind of stuff is thought of as hush-hush. You're not supposed to talk about that kind of stuff. But I want to break that stigma, where, it's not something that you should be ashamed of, because if somebody does something to you, it's not your fault. We need to open up these conversations. We need to have them. And that's what I want to do.
Amazing. Wow.
Amazing.
This is the courage that you have.
So I never, ever, ever wanted to join Miss Cayman. I mean, no, that may sound bad, but I was a diehard tomboy. I was always outside climbing a tree, anything that was not girl-like is what I did. I mean, it started to change over the years, and I thought Miss Cayman would be a great experience for me to have new life experiences, as well as try to get out of my comfort zone, because even though if I make friends with someone, yeah, I'll have the biggest conversation with them. I will do everything. But to tell me to go and meet someone randomly, that's not me. I will shy away from it. I will just stand in the corner. I will just observe everything. But I do not want, like, I won't do it. But with this experience so far, we started to gain experience where we've done the networking classes, which had taught us to take that step. Speak to someone, say hi, even if it's just to compliment them and say, oh, I love your earrings today. That starts the conversation. And for me, that's a big thing because I try to shy away from conversations. So it's a challenge for me because I'm still kind of a town boy trying to get out of it. With the Alex Manta Foundation, I love where they have the support groups, which we all went to on Saturday. They do it every Saturday at the Georgetown Library at 12:30 if anyone wants to go. I know it may be a hard thing for some persons to do, but taking that first step is great. I mean, a lot of us struggle internally and don't vocalize it or don't say anything to anyone. So we may be struggling and we have the biggest smile on our face, acting like nothing is wrong in our lives, and we're dying on the inside. And I mean, just taking that first step and seeking that help is what we all should try to do. Because, I mean, with me, I don't speak about a lot of things, but I will listen to everyone's problems. But, I mean, that first meeting with the Alex Manta Foundation with Shane was... we had the opportunity to speak a little bit about some of the things that we were feeling, and he would give us some tips. And if we go back again, he'll be able to give us more coping mechanisms and stuff. I mean, there's a stigma behind going to therapy. Oh, you're crazy if you go to therapy. Those kind of things, we need to cut it out because people do need the help. Just because you're seeking help doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means you need someone to speak with.
Yeah. It means actually you're courageous, right?
Yeah.
And smart.
Yeah,
as you said, I was thinking to the song, you know, I'm crying inside, but nobody knows about me. So lyrics are... we do have Miss Ashley. We didn't forget you, Mom.
Yeah,
thank you very much for still staying on. And hopefully that it's in Chicago, so it's not the winter. So hopefully it's not that hot either. Welcome back again, Miss Ashley.
It's not. I am struggling a little bit with a echo.
Yeah, we're hearing that too. I thought it was my stomach. Yeah, I thought it was my stomach growling for lunch, but it's not. Huh?
All right, let me see.
Is that better, Mom?
Hold on a second.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let me see if can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I lost you.
No, we hear you.
We can hear you.
I can no longer hear you all, so I'm going to try to.
Okay, just Miss Ashley, we can hear you if somebody can just make a
second. I can't hear you all right now, but I'm going to stay on and say first that listening to everybody sharing just sharing their stories is so empowering, and I'm so proud to be a part of this group and just being in sisterhood with all of these incredible women who are dedicated to being their authentic selves through this campaign. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that because sitting here I'm sitting in an apartment by myself, like holding onto a pillow, wishing that I could be there in person. But I'm so blessed and grateful to be a part of it. I wanted to share what my platform is, has to deal with finding out more about our history as Cayman, my history specifically. This is a major homecoming for me, and I'm getting notes that I'm too loud. This is great. I'm getting this feedback, so let me dial it back a little bit. But I came home in December, and I thought it was only going to be a month, but now I'm home for good, and it feels so good to be back here, and so good to getting to know myself and finding home within myself and what that means, especially the mental health side of that and the emotional health and wellness side of that. So to be working with the Alex Panton Foundation is something that I'm very excited about. And then also finding home within Cayman and what that means, what it means to be Caymanian, what my past is as a Caymanian. And I think in conjunction with working with the Alex Panton Foundation, I'm quite excited to also unravel the root of why we have a lot of why we struggle with mental health. And so a lot of my focus in understanding our history is also understanding the racism that happens in Cayman that we haven't discussed, our past history, especially with slavery, because we don't learn about that in Cayman, and understanding having a more comprehensive understanding of our relations, I think, just with each other, whether it does have to do with race, other countries, and going for kind of understanding that along with this wellness journey, this healing journey. I think it's yes and it's both. Both are very important. If we're going to focus on mental health, then we actually have to focus on the reality of why we as a people, I think in the world, but particularly in Cayman, have gotten to where we are and why we struggle with things specifically. So I'm very, very excited to be home and to be using this platform to speak to all of that and to be working with and running with these incredible women. It's just amazing. So I just thank you so much for this opportunity. I cannot hear you, as I mentioned, so I'm going to put my earbuds back on so that I no longer hear that echo and I can participate a little bit more. So bear with me, it just might be a moment if you want to move on to somebody else.
Well, thank you very much. And this is where I think that humility, but also that sense of respect for self, but more important for each other that you have in each year. Now, Ms. Dawn, we're going to invite you, Ms. Derry, and any other member of the committee together with these wonderful ladies to come on between now and the pageant on the 11th of September to share more, to hear that story, and through Anita we'll coordinate it. But for the listeners to appreciate not only on the September 11th to come out to pageant night, but to appreciate what this means, the emotion, the passion, the compassion, the humility, but the drive that you have and you exhibit to empower us and to take ownership, but to have the courage to seek help, to seek counseling. Ms. Dawn, we could be here all day and still wouldn't do it justice. Sure. If you would, though, maybe in closing, of course, the public invitation is to come back on, maybe in smaller groups, come on collectively. We'll make it happen. Mm-hmm. You guys have inspired me, motivated me. Like you, Miss Iman, I didn't ever want to be in this Cayman, but
she's honest. Thank you. Being on the committee as long as I have, each pageant you see the contestants and you say, oh my goodness, what a special group of young ladies. And this year is no different. But the one thing that I find is different is each of you have been able to share your story, and the bond that you guys have so quickly is really amazing. So I'm extremely proud of where you guys have come already, because this usually when you get to this point is kind of closer to the pageant, because you've gone through Toastmasters and you've been together quite a long time, but this is very early on for you guys to be this comfortable with each other. So I'm really proud of that, and it really speaks to the maturity of where you guys are and the humility that you're sharing. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm just elated to be a part of the Miss Cayman Universe Committee. A lot of times people think it's really just about the beauty, but it isn't. We really are just about the purpose that we serve and the education that you get from it, because the young ladies get a scholarship to allow them to go on, and every year the young ladies are either business owners or they become lawyers or doctors or whatever. So this is not about beauty, really. This is about educating and empowering women in the Cayman Islands. So I'm extremely proud of you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. And honestly, if you allow me to say, I'm honored. I feel privileged. I'm encouraged to look at you as daughters, sisters, as women of stature in our community, to continue to exhibit what ancestors have brought. That a sense of pride and respect. Ladies, you are amazing, and the courage that you have, I know we can see great things now and forever. So please accept the invite to join us again. Ms. Dawn,
absolutely. When you're ready.
Yeah. And to you as well, Miss Ashley, for joining us. Maybe in time you'll be physically in the studio. If you want to come in together, we will make it happen. So really so encouraged.
Thank you for having us.
The pageant is the 11th of September, people. So we'll tell you more going forward how to get your tickets and to come out and see and celebrate the success of our wonderful people. All right, we're going to pause and take a break, and just like we are, a part of the community, well, we want to share with you what's happening in Cuba. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal. Subway, eat fresh.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Census 2021. Census. Cayman, get ready. Census. Starting 10th of October 2021. Census. Information is secret. Census 2021. Census. Starting October 10th. 2021. Census 2021. Census.
2021 Census. Everyone counts.
Why is alcohol bad for me?
Look, you're too young for that, eh?
Don't try to scare your child about drinking or tell them you can't handle it. Instead, tell your child that alcohol can be bad for their growing brain. Tell them it interferes with their judgment and can make them sick. Underage drinking has severe consequences, including injury or death from accidents, academic problems, and even other drug use. Young people who drink are also more likely to have health issues, such as depression and anxiety disorders. Once children hear the facts and your opinions about them, it is easier for you to make rules and reinforce them. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Why is alcohol bad for me?
Look, you're too young for that, eh?
Don't try to scare your child about drinking or tell them you can't handle it. Instead, tell your child that alcohol can be bad for their growing brain. Tell them it interferes with their judgment and can make them sick. Underage drinking has severe consequences, including injury or death from accidents, academic problems, and even other drug use. Young people who drink are also more likely to have health issues, such as depression and anxiety disorders. Once children hear the facts and your opinions about them, it is easier for you to make rules and reinforce them. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Cistern water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use after a hurricane. Simply leave the water for 1 minute after it begins to boil, or to disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family, and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
When you're tight on time and budget, but big on flavor, Subway's Meal of the Day hits the spot. Enjoy daily meals on classic sandwiches like tuna, Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, and more. Starting at $6.25 for 6-inch meals and $8.75 for footlongs. You can get Subway's Meal of the Day. Enjoy a different sandwich on a different day for the same price. Mix it up with cookies or chips or waffle fries for the same price. Subway. Eat fresh.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. And if you would allow us through this medium to maybe have a real conversation with real people about things that really affect us. And I've always believed that as we look at our neighbors and look at what is transpiring across the globe, maybe we need to pay more attention, show more love, and understanding what is happening. And as we see what Cuba is for many, I think we are not cognizant of as to what is transpiring now. So with these fine ladies in the studio bringing their intellect, their passion, their enthusiasm, and a sense of commitment and compassion to our society, I'm honored that you will share with us. For our listeners, maybe a brief intro of each one for us, and then from there we can talk to our discussion.
Okay, my name is Nidia Mojica Herrera, and I've been here in the Cayman Islands 24 years now. I was born in Cuba, Cayman descendants, and I'm here today to bring awareness of what is happening in Cuba as we speak. We are representing, at this moment here, the three of us, the people that are peacefully protesting today and are facing the most oppressive brutality from the Castro Canel regime that we had ever seen in our people. Peaceful protests are growing in Cuba as the Cuban people exercise the right to peacefully assemble to express concerns about freedom, human rights, restoration of democracy, calling for a president no one elected to step down, and the end of a 62-year-old dictatorship regime. It is, as yesterday being reported, 495 people have been reported by their families as arrested or missing just for peacefully protesting. The internet has been cut off so that the people in Cuba cannot communicate with each other and for the world not to see what is happening with the protesters and the aggression that the Castro Canel regime has shown on the streets. Cayman, it is time to stand in solidarity with the people of Cuba. Mr. Governor, it is time to stand in solidarity with the people of Cuba. Please help us condemn the evil socialist Marxist regime that is killing, beating, harassing, and disappearing its political dissidents, and it has been doing so for the past 62 years. We will also ask our fellow Caymanians that if we are not successful in this endeavor of getting this government to step down, that they do one thing for us as we are opening our borders, to please don't travel to Cuba. Don't vacation in Cuba, because when you do so, and excuse me, you are.
You know, and thank you as you compose yourself, Mr. D. We sometimes don't appreciate what is happening, and especially in this time when, as you shared already in Cuba, you know, the connection to the outside world. But even here, sometimes getting information about what is happening is increasingly difficult. Maybe because the media doesn't have access. Maybe the media isn't as interested here and in the region and globally. And this is real. These are our families. These are people that we know intimately because we've just been disconnected by a body of water, and now physically disconnected, but also we no longer have that communication that we once had, sometimes interrupted, but still had, right? So this is not, I appreciate your emotion, ma'am.
It is very difficult to talk about this, but if we can just refrain from vacation in there, we will help a great deal. As we know, one of the main points of getting money is tourism. And they use this money to empower themselves, to continue being strong, and to oppress our people.
The foreign exchange that they earn with the hard currency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are like, is this movement right now, we all collective, all the Cuban peoples in the world are showing our support to the Cuban people on the streets today, and we are asking our leaders and all the international leaders to support the Cuban people and condemn the Castro Canel regime.
You know, we think back to what the media so, in their mind, wonderfully portrayed the Arab Spring, where from just a little tweet or a little twerk or whatever it was that they did, sparked a rising in democracy. This is not dissimilar, where we're asking for peaceful democracy to you.
Yeah, my name is Solangel Cardenas. That's a Spanish version of me.
What Mr. Bush says? Solangel? No,
yeah.
Solangel.
Yeah, like she mentioned, if we allow the people to travel to Cuba, if the people of Cayman keep traveling to Cuba and supporting the current situation, that's supporting the current situation in Cuba. We must do something. We must do something. We're not just supposed to sit down and watching what's going on there. We ask most of the people to share as much videos or whatever they can share, so most people know about it, because a lot of people don't know or don't understand what's really happening in Cuba right now.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. And we was also mentioning, if we stop interchange like activities with Cuba, like sending the people, the INDER, which is the association from Cuba, the sports association in Cuba, if we start interchange with them, that would also help a lot not to contribute with what's going on in Cuba.
Mm-hmm. So, as I listen to you, we realize, and this is sort of the reference to Darwa Spring, oftentimes we leave it to politicians, but you're saying the ordinary person, through the actions of the ordinary person, standing in solidarity, appreciating that democracy is about people's right to freely, peacefully assemble, whether to protest or to champion or to somehow call attention to something. This is Cuba today. Tomorrow it could be somewhere else where democracy is at stake. To you, sorry.
No, my name is Anay Bertran Perez, and my English is maybe not the best one, but I just want to let you know the whole Cayman community that will be good if they stand up next to us, because we are also neighbors and we have to support each other, because what is happening to Cuba, you never know, it can happen in somewhere, hopefully never happen here actually, because this is, we suffered this for 62 years, dictatorship. And our people right now are being assassinated, have been dying, have been beaten up just to be peaceful way march and protest. Also, we would like the government support us and be with us, like support us in the way to say that they against the Cuban regime. That will be the best. The position of the government here, like support our Cuban people, because as I say, we're so close, right? We're neighbors.
Exactly. Ms. Nidia, though, we think back to, even not long ago with the passage of, say, hurricanes and the ease and the willingness and the almost immediate approach with people in Cayman sending assistance. We see the industriousness, we see the innovativeness, we see the enthusiasm, but also the intellect and ingenuity of the Cuban people relative to certain things. And we look at life and we say, well, it must be as good as it looks. But without proper understanding, sometimes we don't appreciate what they're facing.
And the sad thing about that is that we here have this drive that every time something happens in Cuba, we get together, we collect donations, we put money, we send containers, and we send all the supplies to Cuba, and nothing reach. It gets intercepted by the government, and they distribute it as they please. And most times they do sell our donations.
I appreciate you sharing that, because I think oftentimes for some of us, and I say this with great respect, but a great understanding of what is the reality, even in the Cayman context. We write a check to support a charity, but how many times do we appreciate and we assume, and luckily in many instances, it actually works the way it's intended. It goes to the cause. But in this instance, a great effort, great sacrifice of everybody coming together and sending a container of, clothing, goods. But in reality, as you just shared,
they don't work.
It doesn't get there. And when it does, it gets sold.
They just sell it to the people for a great price too.
So we've done our part thinking we're good without understanding that there's a consequence. With that though, we're good.
The precedent of what's happening in Cuba today, and we cannot take that away, is the fact that we, on the 11th of July, didn't see a leader. We didn't see a group organizing this event. It was spontaneous. The people in a small town in Havana took up the street. The video got viral, and 36 cities in my country stood up. And if we listen to what are they chanting, they are chanting for freedom. They are chanting for the president to step down. They are chanting for the end of the 62-year-old regime. They are not chanting for vaccines. They are not chanting for medication. They are not chanting for food. That is part of the problem. But they are not chanting for that. We want freedom, and we need help.
All right. When we come back from the break, if you would, help us to appreciate, because so many times, whether in our schools or in our homes, we don't have these discussions. Many times we turn on the news, and the news itself says it's an entertainment show, so there's little or no analysis or discussion, anything meaningful. And I say that, with a fair contradiction. Because as a people, we just want to consume, we don't necessarily want to engage. Help us to appreciate what sparked this. All of a sudden, similar to the wider world, this came up. Now, there are other reasons, so maybe from your
point of view.
Yeah, and as you said, you're not experts, you're just, real people facing a real thing with real families and real consequences. What in your mind sparked this? And, well, we start with that and then we'll ask more questions.
No problem.
All right, we're going to talk when we continue. This is where democracy reigns. This is why, as we celebrate tomorrow, the 52nd sort of anniversary of the moon landing, what is it this comedians tell us? Well, if they can put a man on the moon, they should be able to. Well, no, they can't because there's no will. We'll tell you why there isn't. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Join the Cayman Islands Mangrove Rangers on Saturday, July 24th for a day of art and fun in celebration of World Mangrove Week at Downtown Gallery, Parcel 110 on Cardinal Avenue. This free all-ages event kicks off a week of activities. Doors open at 10 a.m. with 2 mangrove-themed art exhibitions on display until July 31st. In international news, Germany's government has hit back at criticism over its warning systems after the worst flooding in decades left at least 160 people dead. The deluge caught many off guard, sweeping away houses and leaving residents trapped in rising waters. More than 170 people are still missing. A composer has quit the team creating the Tokyo Olympics opening ceremony after it emerged he had bullied classmates with disabilities at school. Old magazine articles resurfaced in which Kigo Oyamada boasted of the bullying and said he had no regrets. After the scandal broke, the performer apologized, but the outrage in Japan has now led to his resignation. Oil-producing nations have agreed to increase their output with the aim of reducing prices and easing pressure on the world economy. The OPEC cartel and partners, such as Russia, will boost supply from August after prices climbed to 2.5-year highs during the pandemic. The move should have an impact on petrol prices at the pump, which have also rocketed. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And if we can draw sort of courage and inspiration as to what, one individual can do, what a community can do through his voice and through his efforts to appreciate the service and sacrifice in order to preserve, promote, and champion democracy, has a chance. Ms. Lydia, to you and to your colleagues for helping us to now understand, despite all that is happening in the globe, here is something that is of immediate and touching concern to us. We were just asking this before the break. To your mind, from what you've seen, what you know, what sort of sparked this at this time in Cuba for the Cuban people to say, what, it's been, more than half a century, now it's again time to sort of speak out in the way that they have. What was it?
And what I think happened is that people got fed up.
Mm-hmm.
People got fed up. We are tired of the communist system that we live in, tired of poverty. We are tired of seeing that we are being lied to every year. They promise, and nothing happens. And then the COVID situation. Right now we are have more people infected than ever. Then death comes with it. Then the collapse of our hospitals. then the reality that we doesn't have a medical potential hits. Then we have people dying in our homes and stay there for days because the ambulance can't reach to collect them. All that crisis made the people just fed up. And also the fact that Fidel is no longer there. Raul is no longer there. We have this president that nobody knows. He doesn't have the history. He doesn't have what it takes. He doesn't even have the charisma. We didn't elect him. So he doesn't have what it takes to keep us together like Fidel used to.
Right.
He had like this magic that everybody would just stand there and listen to him for hours.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Yeah.
So right now, the people are like, you know what? It's time for us to take back this country and give ourselves a better opportunity and live like everybody else in the world.
Right. If we can, because I think maybe oftentimes we find ourselves busy, sometimes legitimately so, that we are not as aware of what is happening even in our own neighborhoods, sometimes sadly in our own families. But as you reference Fidel and his charisma, his intellect, for people listening who may not know, you shared it's a different time. He brought the people together. Now it's different. The people seemingly were the people more willing and comfortable and had a better quality of life under Fidel than they are now?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
Right.
But it was just like I said, he was very charismatic. He was very convincing. He was always promised that he would never was able to keep. And he took a country that was successful. And look what we have right now.
Right. My Cuban friend, she always references that, from the outside world, they see Cuba as one where the education system is next to none. The healthcare system is absolutely fantastic. They're sending doctors everywhere. That is the perception the outside world sees. What is the reality?
The reality is that our system, our healthcare system is a failure. Our education system is failing as well. We are sending our doctors in what is called a modern century slavery to work in other countries, to make money there to support the dictatorship. They go there because they are struggling so much in our country that they have to go there just to get a microwave or a fridge, to have better appliances in their houses and to have better clothing, to have a better bicycle, because they're not even allowed to have a car. That's what they are going on these missions for.
Right. But to us who watch the international news or who may hear the reports out of international agencies, it would appear that the reality is, all is good. Everything is work. But then you're saying from family and friends, from your own interactions, that's far from the truth.
That's far from the truth.
Solinda?
I have a personal experience. I went to Cuba. That was 1999 when my father actually died. So I was in the military hospital, which is in Matanza. And I remember when I went to Cuba, can't even talk about it. My father was on pain. They didn't have no medication for pain. They didn't have anything. One of the nurses of the hospital, she gave me a list of medication that my father needs for him to at least, because she knew he was going to die. And I have to go on the road and see where I can get that medication for my father. I got like 3 small bottles of something, I can't even remember the name of the medication, which I have written down on a book that I never feel strong enough to throw away yet. So when I went there, when my father passed, somebody told me, you could have gone next door because that's international, and your father could have all the medication. That was one of the doctors that told me, please never disclose my name. That was right next door to my father. In the same hospital, they have another space, which is for international, and my father was in the national. And not to mention, my father was a band director. He opened all the political activities in Cuba. He was not communist, but he was to open all the political and cultural activities in Cuba. My father was nothing. He was a big person in Cuba. He also have a great funeral for people who know me. And that's what happened in Cuba. If you go to Cuba as a tourist, you get the best, and you don't see what we actually, as Cuban, live and see being Cubans.
And I think sadly sometimes we either choose to ignore or we're just oblivious to the obvious. And from what you shared, we visit as a tourist and we see all the glitz and the glamour, the red carpet, as they say, is rolled out. It's sort of like the joke, today in hell you have all the things, tomorrow you're a resident, you see the reality. You're sharing that the reality is that the lack of healthcare, the hospitals have been overrun, people passing and not even being able to
be picked up.
Yeah. But how do we then, as ordinary citizens, as a nation that isn't independent but with strong cultural, familiar ties to Cuba, you call them the governor, you call them the representatives, but end of the day, we're a British possession. What can we do? How can we draw attention when the media seemingly isn't? What can we do? How can we help? What would you want us to do?
What I was saying, not travel to Cuba, don't vacation in Cuba. That would be a big help if we could get that across the Cayman Islands. Because once you go there, you are empowering the government that is oppressing its people. The other thing is, it would be a good help if the governor at least would issue a statement saying that his prayers are with the Cuban people, even if he doesn't mention anything else. Because, like I said, it is a big movement around the globe right now. Every Cuban that has to exile is united and is calling for its leaders to please, it's time for the Cuban people and condemn the regime.
We're seeing international leaders issue similar statements, leaders of independent nations making at least some verbal gesture. Do you, with the greatest respect, think that are having a bearing? I mean, you're talking about a regime that has been in place seemingly ensuring there is, if you can use your word, sense of oppression. Do you think that would make a difference?
Yes, because it is out there, a call for action, because we need help and we need it now. And everybody is working towards that, all the organizations, everybody. We just need everybody on board. Okay.
We do have a caller join us. Mr. D, if you would put on your headset as well. And as we speak to perspective on Cuba, let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon. Am I on the air?
You are indeed, yes.
Yes. I would like to point out a few things to the individuals and all individuals that are listening to this program, sir. We are a democracy down here. And a communist regime is not something that we would want to play with, to assist in any way, shape, or form. That needs to be understood across the table. So the begging and the pleading and all of the other nuisances that comes along with it, we don't want to be any part of that. We are just about on the table now to be rated as one of the top 10 destinations in the entire world. We wouldn't want to do anything to hinder that.
So what would you say then? I mean, I think to the organization, let's say in the UK and even in certain parts of Europe where ordinary citizens in those countries realize in their minds that statues erected to people in centuries past perhaps represented a sense of slavery and oppression and they should be removed. Would not citizens, considering that maybe a semblance of the things that we take for granted, the human rights, the freedom, the access to healthcare and education, that they too would want something similar, perhaps asking, like they are in other independent nations, for governments to condemn oppressive behavior?
It is like this. There are annals of history that are written about civilizations from time began. And how they began is how they will continue, and most definitely is how they will end. There's always been a war of all ages, of all times. And to supply the need, to quell the storm, we have to bring a war, and we don't want that.
So,
as a democracy and as the entire nation of the United Kingdom, we are surviving COVID, and for this we must be thankful. Those ladies, I do appreciate their faith in what they believe in and what they choose to believe, but they've come here from degradation. Yeah.
But not unlike the people from the UK, Canada, and South Africa, and all other places that likewise are probably economic refugees as well.
Okay, but what these people that are here actually need to do is light a candle here and get down on their knees and cry tears of joy that they are here and not there.
So what are you doing while you're here? The same thing?
I am observing the people, and I am seeing that we are quite a very, very chuffed nation down here, chuffed meaning that we're very happy. And according to all the statistics, we should be ready for a most joyful, splendid reopening.
But it should be pursue more economic degradation and wealth and that sort of thing at the expense of human lives?
Well, the economic world has put a sanction on the communist countries. There's nothing that I can do about that.
Like so many, you probably stick your head in the sand as well. Hey, thanks for your call. Let's take the other one. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Very well. And yourself?
I am absolutely fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend the three ladies who are on there,
mm-hmm.
who are standing for their own cause. I don't share the views of the last caller, and I just want to make that clear.
Yes,
While I can acknowledge that there have been changes throughout all societies and that the Bible will fulfill and there will be unrest and there will be wars and rumors of wars and all the rest of it, it is heartless to say that the reason why we shouldn't support Cuba is because of our own economic goals.
Mm-hmm.
If those three ladies and the rest of the Cubans in this country and those all throughout the world and those in Cuba can please understand that it is not the Caymanian view that we should not support Cuba because we are about to reopen our borders. We are not a heartless breed of people. We are very kind, we are very generous, and we are very loving. I believe that you have those who are Caymanians in this country who strongly support Cuba. And I encourage you to do all that you can do in order to bring the quality of life that you feel that your family members are entitled to in Cuba. And I hope that you gain the support that you need. And I hope that you understand that these things must come to pass. But I especially want it to be understood that it is not the Caymanian approach to not support a people because of risk of our economic standing in this world. That says that would say that we are a heartless or wicked country. And no, I don't subscribe to that, nor do the majority of Caymanians, and I dare say the majority of citizens of this country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for the offense that the last caller gave to you all. God bless you and have a good day.
Thank you. Blessings of all.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We have, I believe, one final break to take, Mr. G. When we come back, if you would share with us further, and like the caller said, have a heart. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Celebrate Cayman is taking the Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry to local communities every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Come out for a fun, family-friendly evening to learn about the Seafarers Registry, access complimentary health and wellness checks, share seafaring stories in the memory booth, enjoy seafaring-themed activities, socialize with seafarers, and more. The Celebrate Cayman Seafarers Registry Roadshow happening every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Visit celebratecayman.ky for schedule and info.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry, Celebrate Cayman, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, and the Department of Children and Family Services will be visiting the Church of God Chapel, Boddentown Church Hall on Thursday, the 22nd of July.
Are you ready?
Yes, Dwayne, we had conch the last time. Now we're having conch 2. We learned about the scientific part of the conch. So this time...
Is that Rhea Pearl, Pearl Newman?
No,
Mini
none of
Pearl.
that. What it could be this time, we had about the scientific part. We even found out what conch bubbies was. And the conchs have pearls. Tell us what it could be this time. You know, conch 2.
Conch 2, all about conch.
Conch 2, the eating part.
Can you do that again?
Come join us.
All about the conch.
Cooking conch, eating conch. You don't need to tell me about eating conch. I know how to do that part. Join us
for the conch 2.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
See what I'm saying?
We'll bring it up later, Conch.
Conch. Conch.
Conch 2, the Eaten Part, now on Friday, July 23rd.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us in the studio as we talk about, geopolitical landscape and the realities of what perhaps is transpiring now. Sometimes we get a perspective from real people, with real issues that are really happening right now. Let's did it together, with Solange and others. We get a chance to appreciate this. Before we go to the phones, what are you, again, for those who may join us, what are you asking specifically the Cayman community and its political leadership, including the UK appointed one?
Okay, so we are here to bring awareness of what is happening in Cuba today. We are here to ask the Cayman Islands to stand in solidarity with the people of Cuba. We, at this point, are not asking for any supplies or any donations or anything like that, because the people in the streets of Cuba are chanting freedom, human rights, restoration of democracy, the stepping down of the president, and the end of the 62-year-old dictatorship regime. They are not asking for anything other than freedom, and we are respecting that. We are not asking, and we are against, as a matter of fact, of sending anything to Cuba at this point, because after what happened, and also to see that the real blockade is internal. The government of Cuba issued a statement stating that now we can go to Cuba and bring as much medication and as much food and as more cleaning supplies that we can without paying duties. So if that was something that could have been done, why it wasn't put in place when we started with the pandemic, and because the airport was open, but we still couldn't bring other than 60 pounds of goods.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want anything at this point, because the people of Cuba don't want anything at this point other than solidarity, the governments or the leaders of the world to issue statements supporting them and condemning what the Castro-Canel regime is doing to them right now.
Okay. We do have some other callers online. Let's see if we can gauge what our listeners are thinking and what they're willing to share. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hello, Dwayne.
Afternoon, G. What's up, man?
All right. I just want to commend the two ladies that are there.
We have three. Yeah.
Sorry. Three.
Yes, sir.
Before I start to give them the support that we all, as free-loving people in the world, should be willing and able to give them, and especially lend their voices in support of the uprising in Cuba. I want to just touch on the caller that called in before the last caller that seemed to have had a UK accent. That I really think that you're to be commended too, because I think that you should cut people off a lot sooner when they're talking utter nonsense and rubbish. That caller who called in about talking utter nonsense should have been cut off before he got 2 words out of his mouth, because he started off talking utter nonsense. He's probably the same kind of people that watch the soccer match a few weeks ago when England lost, and then they started to call the dark colored players on the English team monkeys and all kind of stuff like that. He's of that same breed, a racist, and we don't need him here. Wherever he's from, he can take it from George Ebanks. He can go to the airport and book a ticket and go back home. We don't need him here. Now let me just give the support to the ladies that is there.
Thank you.
What we also need to do is to see whether we can get the embargo lifted as well. We should speak about that as well, because that is also something which is preventing the economic flourishing of Cuba, and would give it some vibrancy in terms of economic inward investments from the global community. But they are right. At this point in time, the people of Cuba are fed up with a failed system. Mm-hmm. It is a failed state, and they want freedom, they want justice, they want freedom of expression, freedom to assemble freely, and they want to have a democratic society where they can pick and choose and refuse every 4 years or 5 years whenever they're going to have the constitution to say how long the elections will be held. Mm-hmm. They want the ability to pick their own leaders.
A democracy.
Like all free-loving people in free countries. Mm-hmm. And I am thankful that I live in the Cayman Islands, which is a democracy, and we should be thankful that we live here, and we should then encourage all other countries, especially Cuba, that example of a free, failed state, because I was born in Cuba too, so I know what I'm talking about. I would like to see that country be the gem and the of the Caribbean that it should be. It's a most beautiful little country, but it has gone to terrible waste because of a failed system that has been in existence far too long. So along with freedom and justice and economic rights that I think the guests are talking about, I also want to say that I think that the economic embargo should be something that all free people should be screaming loud and clear that should be lifted as well. But with that, I want to commend you for not cutting that caller off earlier, and I want to give my grand voice in support of your guest.
Hey, thanks very much. Thanks very much.
Well, before I go, I want to say the embargo no exists. U.S. no put no embargo to Cuba. Not in the way that people think the embargo affect our economy. It's internal embargo what we have. That means the corrupted Cuban government, the corrupted communist government, is who put the embargo to our own island. So community in Cayman have to know for a fact we don't have U.S. embargo. Is Cuba own embargo, the government Cuban who put the embargo. And that's important. Everybody knows.
All right.
Thanks.
Also, just to clarify something, the embargo could be lifted if two things happened. We free our political prisoners, and we do elections. If we restore democracy in our country, and if we free our political prisoners, the embargo will lift. We do have an embargo that was placed back in the 60s when Fidel nationalized all the American properties and companies that were there without paying. What they are saying that we don't have is a blockade. They don't mention the word embargo very often. They always say el bloqueo, el bloqueo, el bloqueo.
That's what a lot of people mistake blockage with.
We do have an embargo. We don't have a blockade, but we have an internal blockade, which is what she's referring to.
Right.
Which is this government not allowing us to have private economy, private ownership. You know, it doesn't allow the Cubans to empower and build their own economy. That's the blockade that we have.
Just like you said, even when we send humanitarian items after a hurricane,
they take them.
They get there, they just don't get where they were intended. All right. Can we take one other call? I believe we have another one online. Let's hear what our callers want to share. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
How are you today, and those ladies?
Hola.
We are thankful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you know how it is in Cayman. We have relatives all around the world, and I support strengthening. I support the people being stronger, a stronger Cuba. You know,
yeah, man.
I'm coming from a family that a family of politicians from way back here in different countries, and I know quite a bit of political history. But I would like to see Cuba be stronger, the people be stronger and united, and work together.
Yeah, man.
And achieve great success.
Right. Thanks very much for that. And I think the caller hits a point that as I listen to what you were sharing, you're asking for solidarity, for prayer, for an appreciation that the democracies and the freedoms that many of us in Cayman sort of take for granted and around the globe, we may not appreciate how it's a little bit more difficult, put it nicely. Again, Ms. Nydia, from that perspective, we've seen international political leaders issuing sort of support, condemnation, or what have you, for a non-independent nation like Cayman, a British possession. Maybe there's something we can do, maybe it's not enough, but what little there is, what are you again asking us to do as a people, as a government, political as well as appointed?
We will ask the governor to please stand for the people of Cuba and issue a statement standing for the people of Cuba and condemning the Castro Canel regime for what they are doing. We also will like to ask the Cayman people again and everybody that's living here in the Cayman Islands that as we open our borders and we go back to normal, refrain from vacationing in Cuba, not travel to Cuba. By doing so, they would help us a great deal. Because when you do vacation in Cuba, your money empowers this regime that is oppressing its people.
Okay. Any sort of closing thoughts to you, something?
Yeah, and no charities. We are not getting any charities. The charities that have been sent to Cuba, they sell it back to us. So we basically paying for it twice, because once we send it to them, we buy it, give it to them for them to send them there, and then we have to send money to our family to buy whatever we already send there for free. So do not send any charities. Do not travel to Cuba. Whoever is agree with us, obviously, I know we have a lot of people who don't think the same way we think. We are not against those people. As we say, everybody have their own way to think, but we really, really appreciate the people who support us on this cause. Because it's costing life in Cuba. It's costing life
One
in Cuba.
last thing, if we could ask the new elected government if they could please, we see a difference on treatment when, for instance, the people that are representing the Castro Canel regimes come here in the persons of the Cuban ambassador and the people that work at the embassy. We don't really need them here because they don't represent us. And we see a disproportion in how we treat them when they get here and how we treat the people that are fleeing our island because of them. So we will actually ask the government if they can stop them from coming here because they don't really represent us. They only do one thing, is take money from us. So if we could just, don't welcome them here as we have, because they don't represent us.
And also, if it's possible to the community, share everything that they see in Facebook, what is happening in our country. It's good because it's necessary the whole world see what is going on in Cuba. And also, any social media that you have, anything you share in Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, anywhere, that's very helpful for us. And most on everything, the prayers. We need a lot of prayers to see how we can finish that dictatorship that cost us more than 63 years old. Thanks.
Ladies, thanks very much. And like the gentleman called earlier, commending you for your faith, for your diligence, for your willingness to peacefully champion our democracy. Some of us probably don't appreciate, I'm reminded each day, by many of our veterans who fought in wars, who understand that a small nation with only a handful of people volunteered to go, in their minds, fight against, what was an oppressive, regime back then, and now we're on this side of the axis, as it were. Tomorrow we'll, for some people celebrate, 52 years of the moon landing, for whatever that means, but yet there are many people just next door, our families and our friends who are suffering, who don't have the same freedoms, access to healthcare, education, who sadly have passed away in their own homes and can't be, taken, treated with the dignity at their life's end. Maybe we will see, a change. Maybe we will grow that level of empathy. Thoughts, Ms. Allen?
One last point that I want to touch before we go is that a lot of people tell me, like, oh, you do that because you don't have your children back in Cuba, you don't have your parents back in Cuba. I do have a lot of friends back in Cuba, and sometimes friends are closer than your own family. I have a lot of people still back in Cuba. And whatever happens here, it affects me because, to me, the way I protesting, I am not the easiest one protesting there. If you see the videos, I won't be able to go back to Cuba, and that's my country. So I want people to understand that it affects me the same way it affects the rest of us. If you're afraid, I understand that, because nothing bigger to me than my own children's, than my family. But that everybody is affected by it. And anybody that is been on the protest and go back to Cuba, it's either communist, if they allow it to walk freely, because I know whoever is going the street is been repressed. So I can't go back to Cuba. I know that myself. I cannot go back there now.
Well, something someone just reminded me of just, moments before we started the program today. At the last election, there were a number of younger people who believed that this is, in the Cayman context, a democracy, who were happy to vote for the first time in a free and fair general election. And after the election, believe that their public demonstration of what they think should transpire, that they assemble. And it's new for this country to assemble in such a way, but to hear some of the leadership, politically elected or appointed, or the business community, maybe say things that could be interpreted that, well, that's not really a civilized way to do things, or that's not democracy. Maybe that could be interpreted as a way to quell people who might otherwise want to demonstrate. But we're talking about an established communist regime that, from what you shared, is up to yesterday, almost 500 people, have been disappeared, as it were. who knows what will transpire, but for the international community being aware, issuing, support, maybe calling for something to be different if we're talking about, having freedoms and rights and human rights being protected and access to healthcare and education and so much that is easily taken for granted because we have it every day.
Yep.
I trust, like you said, that we'll be as a globe in prayer and perhaps in a very peaceful, civil way, be able to bring about a positive change so that one day, we can be united as a people.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right, to our listeners, this is the world. There's more happening than just that injection that you're being incentivized to take or COVID that is rampant wherever your news media is reporting it. So let's be in prayer and let's be willing to be civil and respectful and responsible. Invite you to come back tomorrow for more talk today right after the midday news and midday meditation. We get a chance to talk about the 52nd anniversary of the moon landing. We had a chance to speak to some wonderful physicians, including Dr. Larson, Dr. Peck over at HSA, to tell you about some great things that are happening there as well. We have much to be proud of. We have so much that we shouldn't take for granted, but we do. Until tomorrow, maybe we'll find unity in our community and strengthen our democracy and health and safety in our society. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.